My safety is paramount, he continues, as is the safety of the wagon. The rest, he gestures toward the ruckus unfolding at the end of the wagon, is now your responsibility. Fools, you exclaim as you turn your back on them and begins to sprint towards the fight. Oh, I thought he was about to take the fucking Varen out or something. You round the end of the double wagon. I mean, I suppose it is not his duty, to be honest with you. You round the end of the double wagon. You hear the sound of the rapidly splintering wood and the panicked hoofbeats of Wahashas. Nearby, the female guard is on the ground, trying to help one of the laborers back to his feet. The guard is distracted, so she can see that a huge chunk of the shattered Wahasha's harness is about to rain down on the man who has injured an ankle. You only have a moment. You could shout in hopes that the guard's reflexes are quick enough to protect her and the fallen laborer, or could dive and try to tackle her out of the way. But it looks like they're away. I don't think we have the time. I suppose I'll just go for a shout of warning. You shout, "Look out," as the mass of wood and iron hurls through the air. The guard reacts to your warning, half turning as the debris tumbles to the ground. As she dodges, a chunk slams into her slides and knocked her off her feet. The slave can only throw up his hands up in a helpless defense as the wreckage crashes down on top of him. The woman rolls to one side, moaning in pain. As you reach her, her eyes flutter open. "You saved me, Ranger," she says, brushing on a strand of flame-red hair out of her eyes. She looks at the body of the slave and shakes her head. Despite the commotion, I thought she was going to be angry or something. Despite the commotion, you're struck by her eyes, emerald green and highly... her eyes are green and her head are red. Her hair are red. That is fucking amazing. Emerald green and highly expressive, but filled with deep sadness. Just we could have saved him too. As you pull her back to the side, back to standing, she groans and clutches at her side. She starts to speak. "Thank you, my name is..." But you don't have time for niceties. The Varen is still a threat to the caravan. You're often running before she can complete her sentence. You moved outwards to get a clear view of the massive animals involving in the fray. The beast that was bitten has collapsed to the ground on his side. He is still alive, but his huge legs are raised stiffly. Oh, okay. In the air. The Varen has begun to tug herself free of the straps of the wagon harness. She is clearly furious, hissing in rage as she eyes the other Wahasha, still trapped in the remains of the wagon harness. Two guards are standing nearby. One has a sword at the ready, and the other is aiming a crossbow. You knock the crossbow as the guard pulls the trigger. The bolt whizzes past the Varen. "Damn you, you sand goblin!" he shouts, looking like he might unwisely try to hit you with the butt of his crossbow. "Fool, that will bring her attention to you," you say. Your weapon will not pierce the scales. The other guards holding the sword glances at you. "It's trapped. We can kill it now. Don't get any closer, you won't." "What's wrong, Ranger? Are you scared?" he says tauntingly. You got a bow in your hand, but you refuse to fight. He looks at the Varen, still struggling with the leather bound tangled over her wings and legs. "She has missed her prey," you reply, eyeing the monster. "With luck, she will decide that we are too much trouble to hunt and leave on her own." "Well, you might be too scared to do anything," the guard says, swiping his sword in the air for effect. "But this is my chance at freedom." Is a chance at freedom, so he's willing to die for it. It's understandable now. I just thought he was being arrogant. The yell, he rushes at the Varen's back. Behind you, the other guards and a nearby laborer raise a cheer. "Don't," you shout, but it's too late. The Varen glances back over her shoulder, one yellow eye fixing the guard in her reptilian stare. As the man rushes in, her tail lashes out, snapping the tip like a whip, driving the envenomed barb into the guard's chest. A collective gasp goes up from the assembled onlookers as the Varen turns to face the ground. The guard has turned back around as though attempting to flee. However, his muscles have already locked up, his face quivering, and his skin has turned pale. "I can't move," he gasps. His eyes bulge in fear as he sinks to his knees. Nothing can save the guard now. Varen's poison is so potent that even a tiny dose will stop the man's heart. The guard's mouth opens and shuts like a fish. He mouths, "Help me." The Varen takes a closer step and hisses. Her jaw drips ropey strands of saliva. One fluid motion, she lunges forward, seizing the guard in her claws as her wings begin to beat the air. As it raises, you can now hear the guard's plea. "Ranger, the twin gods, Sat and Dira, represent the duality of life, the predator and the prey, birth and death. You venerate the twins in all things. That is the way of the Ranger. You heft the black bow on your back. You can deliver a killing shot, but But do you target the Varen or the guard? You have a deep respect for this magnificent animal. The beast will surely eat the man. Being devoured alive is grisly death, but the Varen is merely following her nature to hunt. You could end the man's suffering with a well-placed bow shot before the Varen lands to feed. On the other hand, the Varen has obviously established herself as a threat to you and the caravan. One shot through the eye, you can end it. The creature is riding fast. You may decide now. I think we should kill the Varen because now the Varen knows that there's like easy prey in this area, right? So it might attack again. So I think we should definitely kill it. Shoot the Varen. The gracious one, apparently our gods didn't like that. With the utmost respect, you decide to end the Varen's life now rather than risk a later confrontation. You will breathe deeply, draw an arrow back in the black bow. You sight the Varen's eye as she raises into the air. The large yellow orb is split into a vertical pupil. It is a fine target. You release your arrow. The creature lets out a screech. Next you hear scattered cheers from the caravan around you. The cheers turn to gas as she releases the guard from her grasp and sends his still struggling body careening toward a sudden, unforgiving end. The Varen continues to flap around, violently shaking its head as it clears the crest of the hill and drops out of sight. What was that, Ranger? The captain asked angrily. I struck her eye, you answer. A fatal wound. She will die in the next few minutes. Was there no way to save the guard? He asks. You feel a wave of regret come over you as you consider the consequences of your decision. It's not Ranger's way to needlessly end life. You turn and meet his eye. He was dead the moment she attacked him, Captain. He was filled with toxin. It was only a matter of time before he succumbed. It takes Grimble some time to repair the broken harness on the last wagon. While he works, you gather the guards to speak with them about the attack. You were concerned by their undisciplined reaction. Use this time to reinforce proper positioning and protocol. As your angry lecture continues, you find yourself avoiding eye contact with the female guard. The Vahasha that was bitten slowly regains its mobility. Fortunately, the Varen did not inject as much venom as you had feared. The hardy animal will be fine, but your temper remains white hot. You stalk towards the central wagon. The heavily fortified door opens as Rassel emerges. The captain jogs over to your side and bows his head in deference to the wizard. All is ready for your departure, Master Rassel. The heavy hood shifts as Rassel turns towards you, and you concur, Ranger. Yes, you snarl. Rassel pauses, but you remain unsatisfied. Your rage is close to its boiling point. You're still upset that the ranger denied aid to protect everyone in the caravan. You mourn the useless death and destruction caused by his callous attitude and cowardice. It's not necessarily cowardice, honestly. Like, I mean, let's say, I'm just putting this forward, right? Let's assume that a country's president is driving in a car. Let's say that's what's happening, right? And the country's president was a former soldier. Let's go with that as well. And he's like, he's trained and he is carrying a gun on him, right? Now, a group of, let's say, armed men attack, right? He could participate in the fighting and he could do that, but is it necessary? Is it his responsibility to do that? I don't think so. Because, just like this wizard, that president is important. This wizard must be important. He must be doing some important shit. So I don't think it's necessarily what he did was wrong. Let's just say maybe the Varen was sent by someone. Let's assume that could be the case, right? And when Varassel comes out, and he was like attacking on the fucking Varen, right? He could have been shot through the neck with an arrow from one of his enemies that laid the whole encounter out, honestly. Very unlikely, but that is a possibility. You must have seen whenever there's an attack on the president or prime minister or something like that, they always like all the guards like hunch around and like protect him so that he doesn't get shot and shit. Like, even if he could fight, that's not his fucking responsibility to do so. He has an important position, and him remaining alive is the most important thing. So I don't see the problem with the actions of Rassel, honestly. You level your... Where were we? Right. You mourn the useless death and destruction caused by his callous attitude and cowardice. You level your finger at him accusingly. Like, literally you put your finger up? You could have sent those guards with me. We could have saved a life. Rassel waves your words off. I told you, Ranger. The safety of myself and the wagon are paramount. Anything else is secondary. Unacceptable. The word tumbles out of your mouth before you can stop it. I've been charged with protecting the caravan. I expect you to allow me to do my job. The collective gasp goes up from the assembled guards and laborers. Clearly no one else would dare to address Rassel in this manner, but you dare. Ranger Quebec has warned you countless times about losing your temper, but it feels good to finally give your anger its voice. Rassel turns to face you. There is still no evidence of a face under that deep hood, merely an unsettling pool of darkness under the morning sun. No one defies me, Ranger. You sneer. This is a first time for everything, Rassel. I'm not some slave you have purchased. I'm a free man. You rest the black bow on the ground and lean on this curved shaft. Oh shit! Holy shit, he fucked us up for some reason. For an uncomfortably long time, Rassel does not move. You're not sure what he's thinking. There's a scream to your left. No, you can't. It's the elven girl from the central wagon. She's pressed up against the bars that cover the window of her wagon. She seems to be shouting at Rassel. Suddenly you realize why. Rassel was casting some sort of spell. Raises his hand. A nebulous field of black energy spreads between them. He flicks his wrist and the pulsating black mass flies directly at you. Try to dodge, but it's too late. The darkness wraps around you and you find yourself blinded. You hear another muffled scream, this time muffled perhaps by the darkness around you. Feel multiple hands seize your arms and legs. A burly arm wraps around your throat from behind and squeezing you in a choking grip. You're helpless. Darkness. Oh, he used the blinding spell and probably asked the slaves to, choke us or some whatever. Squeezing you in a choking grip. You're helpless. The darkness fades, seeming to melt away into daylight. Several guards of caravans are holding you now as Rassel stands in front of you. Behind him, Grimwald is limping out of the wagon and a thin metal circlet in his hands. Ooh, they're about to enslave our boy. There's a slave call. As Grimwald positions the metal around your neck, Rassel says impassively, "You have bought this on yourself, Ranger." The chokehold around your neck prevents you from answering as Grimwald meets your eyes with an apologetic expression. Rassel says, "I was hoping that you would be professional, that the collar would not be necessary. Your will shall be my will, and your loyalty will be assured in all things." Grimwald pauses and looks up at the wizard before fastening the cold metal hoop. "Master, surely the Council of Grove will object." Rassel strides close and stares down at you. "They might. However, by the time word reaches them, I will have concluded my business in Ring City and we will be gone." Rassel points a single finger. There is a flare of light and the slave collar clamps around your throat. A moment later, the guard release you. "Stand," Rassel says, and you find yourself unable to resist the order. He shakes his silent laughter. "Do you know why your kind is dying off, Ranger?" You grit your teeth in rage as you will yourself to draw your sword. You cannot, because you are a contradiction. Rassel continues. You fancy yourself as wild and free as the wilderness you worship, yet by some accident of ancient history, you're bound to protect the kingdom and uphold your oaths. He waves his gloved hand at you dismissively. "Absurd. The new world has no love for contradictions. Be one thing or another. You cannot be both." Wait, what? Oh, you can be the new world or you can be a contradiction. Is that it? Right, that makes sense, right? So if they're so free, shouldn't he leave the thing of protecting the kingdom be on his own? If he's bound to an institution, then he's bound to an institution. He should understand that he is part of the institution and act professional that way. I'm actually on the side of Rassel in this one. You would think I would be angry at him like I was with Korean and shit, but no, he's dope. I like him. I mean, his methods are a little, let's say, unconventional. And his attitude could use a little bit of work, but maybe from what I see, a man of his position, it's understandable as long as he absolutely doesn't try to just fucking kill our guy now and remove us from this fucking position or whatnot. But I personally like this guy, honestly. So yeah, let's see. Okay, holy shit, I nearly dropped my fucking phone. Whatever. "This is treason," you shout, your fingers straight to the thin circlet of metal around your neck. Your mind clears enough to speak freely. "I'm a free citizen of Valtanir, you see. You have no right to do this to me." You pull hard at the metal band, but a surge of power flows from the band and numbs your arms. Rassel turns away. His answer drifts back over his shoulder. His answer drifts back over his shoulder as he glides towards his wagon. "I have the power, and so I claim the right. Let this be your first lesson, Ranger. Those that have the power make the rules." That is true. Though I don't like his way of doing things. I would have preferred if he just told us that, bruh, if you if I was Rassel at that point, I would have been like, "Bruh, you want to do this? Do this proper. Do your shit. But do not fucking step up to me and fucking mess up my whole fucking shabam, right? You're like a foreign force here. You've been ordered to protect the fucking wagon. You have your guards and shit. Go do that. I just wanted 2 guards. There were 12 guards and they weren't able to do shit anyway. So wouldn't it have been better to just what the 2 guards would have done anyway? We literally were waiting for the fucking dragon or whatever the we're in to like pick up the fucking yak or whatever it is and take it away. That's all we were doing. Like what is the extra 2 guards would have done anyway? It would have done nothing. It would have absolutely done absolutely nothing. Like it would have been completely pointless. Like I don't understand what the fuck they were like I don't understand what is our character's motivation. Like the main characters in every game just have to piss me off, right? Like the only one that has not pissed me off as much, as far as I can remember at least, would be probably a wizard boy, Nuxius, because he was a little bit, you know, mild and tame and whatnot. So his shit was not as annoying. The situation around him was definitely annoying, but the character itself was not that annoying. Other than that, every single character has been absolutely fucking annoying. Even his like whole love shit was not that bad. Like usually in like shows like these, whenever love comes into play with like Vanessa and whatnot, like it's like super cringy and like, no, I shall not proceed forward without my mistress by my side or some bullshit like that. But that one just like was awesome. Like their love story was like they were a power couple, honestly. So their love story was great, honestly. So that's why the first game was not as infuriating. The game itself was infuriating, but the character itself was not infuriating, which is a great thing. But here, this is just annoying. I'm still not mad at Russell. Like I understand what he did is wrong, and he should not have done that. The fucking forced collar shit. But I still don't. I'm not mad at him.